The trial requires witnesses, the reckoner explained. Not simply those who love her, those who truly knew her. Memory tested by love alone is easy to fake. Memory tested by detail is not. That was the moment I understood our biggest problem. 17 years is long enough for a kingdom to forget the small, specific details of someone they were forbidden from speaking about at all. The king could tell us how she ruled. Mama Odara could tell us how she loved her daughters. But the small things, her laugh, her favorite foods, the way she held her hands when she was nervous, those belonged to someone else entirely. There was a handmaiden, the old steward finally recalled. Yetunde. She served the queen personally for years. She left palace service the same week the queen disappeared. Nobody has spoken with her since, as far as I know. We didn't send a guard to fetch her. Some conversations I was beginning to understand needed to happen face to face or not at all. Her cottage was easy to miss. I think that might have been intentional. She looked at us for a long moment before she said anything at all. When she finally spoke, her voice shook in a way that told me she already knew exactly who we were. You have her eyes, she whispered. Both of you. I have spent 17 years wondering if I would ever see them again in any face at all. Her home was small, but every object in it seemed to be holding its breath, the way things do when someone has kept them carefully for far too long. She embroidered this herself, Yetunde said, showing us a small cloth stitched with 2 tiny birds. The week she learned she was carrying twins. She told me she wanted her daughters to always remember they were meant to fly together, not apart. I had seen my mother in a vision made of golden light and water. This felt more real than that. This felt like touching something she had actually held in her own 2 hands, thinking of us. She told us things no history, no vision, no old ledger could ever contain. That the queen hummed off-key on purpose to make her laugh. That she hated the formal royal hairstyle and always asked for her hair loose the moment she was alone. That she cried during sad songs and pretended she hadn't. I watched my sister cry for the first time since we'd found each other. Not from fear, from finally getting to know someone she'd spent her whole life being told she couldn't ask about. I will come to your trial, Yetunde said before we could even ask. I have kept her memory safe in this small house for 17 years, waiting for someone to finally need it. I am not going to let a stranger with a ledger decide it never mattered. We walked back to the palace with more than we'd come for, not just a witness. Someone who had loved our mother in the ordinary everyday way that seemed somehow more precious than any royal vision could ever be. For the first time since this story began, everyone who had ever truly loved my mother sat together in the same room, preparing to defend a memory none of us had been allowed to speak about out loud. Tomorrow, Baba Fasoranti said quietly, looking around the room, we find out if love this scattered can still stand as one thing when it finally has to. None of us slept much that night. I don't think any of us wanted to. I thought gathering her memories would be the hardest part. I was wrong. The hardest part was about to ask us to walk directly into them and prove, one at a time, that they could survive being looked at that closely. The 3rd day arrived exactly on schedule. Debt collectors, it turns out, are almost obsessively punctual. The trial does not happen here on the bank, the reckoner said. Memory belongs to the water. If you wish to defend it honestly, you must be willing to enter the place where it actually lives. Nobody had mentioned this part. I don't think even Mama Odara, with her old encounter decades before, had expected the trial to ask this much of us. What happens, Baba Fasoranti asked carefully, to those who enter and fail to prove what they came to prove? They do not return, the reckoner said simply. The river does not punish them. It simply keeps whatever proved in the end to be untrue. Nobody moved for a long moment. I understood in that silence that we were no longer discussing a formality. We were discussing who among us was willing to risk becoming nothing but a memory themselves. We go together, Isioma said. Both of us. It was always going to be both of us from the moment we found each other. One by one, the rest of them stepped forward too. I want to say I was surprised the Duke joined us. I wasn't, not really. Some debts, it seems, you spend the rest of your life trying to repay. The water didn't feel dangerous. It felt familiar, the way it always had around me. That familiarity made the risk somehow worse, not better. The world around us dissolved the same way it had the day the pendants reunited. Except this time, it didn't feel like watching a memory. It felt like standing inside one together. The reckoner appeared beside us inside the memory itself, unbothered by the impossible way the space folded around us. Now, they said, show me she was real, not the queen, her. Yetunde spoke first, and as she spoke, the space around us actually changed, forming the memory itself, as though the trial wanted proof made visible, not just spoken. There she was, not carved in stone, not glowing with sacrifice, not weighed down by prophecy, just a woman laughing too loudly at her own joke, exactly the way Yetunde had described her. The reckoner circled the memory the way a jeweler might examine a stone for flaws. I realized, watching them, that this was exactly what the trial actually was. Not a test of how much we loved her. A test of whether that love was specific enough to be true. The memory didn't waver. It held, solid and warm, exactly as Yetunde had given it to us. One memory, honestly given, proven true, the reckoner said. This is a beginning. It is not, however, an ending. There are many more memories in that pendant than one woman's laughter. Who is next? I looked around at the faces beside me. My sister, my grandmother, a handmaiden who never stopped waiting, a prince who chose us over his own father, a duke finally trying to make something right. I understood we had a long way left to go. But for the first time since the reckoner walked into our throne room, I believed we might actually win. If you made it this far, you already know this story is about much more than magic. It's about the people we refuse to forget. So, tell me in the comments, which moments touched you the most? Was it Yetunde recognizing the twins by their mother's eyes? The embroidered cloth with the two birds, everyone choosing to enter the river together, or the queen laughing inside the memory trial? I read every comment, and your thoughts are one of my favorite parts of sharing these stories. If you're enjoying The Unchosen One, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. New episodes premiere every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. See you in the next chapter, because the trial has only just begun and the hardest memories are still waiting to be tested.